So I am Arthur. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Vibe. We are the Google Ads of TV. I'll come back to that later, but basically we only operate in the US. And this is a picture of my favorite show, Yellowstone. If you haven't watched it, full of recommendation, like a lot of value in that presentation. Awesome show about a family that owns a ranch in Montana. Pretty cool. And I own the same hat now, not just today. All right, so yeah, let's talk about television and especially what's going on right now in the US. Because as Europeans, like we don't really see what's going on with connected television, CTV, OTT, streaming, whatever you name it. But there is a big change that's ongoing. So basically what's going on is that TV has always been so big in the US culture, but up for a very long time, like people used to access TV through cable TV. So cable TV was very expensive. If you've ever watched TV shows in the US, it's absolutely atrocious, filled with ads. Well, we're not like solving that, but yeah, still a lot of ads. And yeah, cable very expensive, and people got bored of it. Like people got very bored of it because like the streaming platforms really opened up the way with Netflix and everything. And what happened is that all the like big broadcasters, big like TV channels, etc., started to have their own like streaming apps and creating their own streaming apps. So in Europe, usually you know Netflix, you know Disney Plus. Now you know a bit Paramount Plus maybe. But what's going on in the US is very different. So you have like all kind of acronyms because like they inspired themselves with ad tech and that horrible thing that we have with acronyms. So you have different kind of streaming apps. You have fast apps, which are free ad-supported television. So usually they have like kind of the same way as you watch TV right now in linear. You have channels that run like in real time. You can't really skip or select the program, the exact program that you're looking at. But it's like you have ads on it. So one of the biggest app in the US that does that is Pluto. Hundreds of millions of active users. You also have Samsung TV Plus. So if you have a Samsung TV and you've connected it to the internet, like when you turn on your TV, like you'll have like those weird channels that pop up. So those are like fast apps. They're wildly used in the US, and we'll talk again about that later. Then you have AVOD. So some fast apps have AVOD services. Welcome in ad tech and in media. So this is on demand basically and supported by ads. Actually, YouTube is AVOD, but then you also have like all the replay systems. Like if you want to like watch a show that already ran or this kind of thing, like that's AVOD and that's how you'll access it. Then you'll have SVOD, which is what we know mostly in Europe. So subscription video on demand. So that's Netflix, that's Paramount, etc. So that we won't really talk a lot about today because like there's no ads in those. And then you have HVOD, which is hybrid video on demand, which is like, but you are paying like to access the service, but you also have ads. And all the main like TV platforms and streaming platforms right now are switching to it. So the first one that actually like made a big push towards it was Hulu. That's owned by Comcast and Disney. And it's probably one of the biggest one in the US, and now Netflix has launched its ad-supported tier as well. Disney Plus is coming to it, Paramount Plus is coming to it, Prime is coming to it. So this is really like the future of streaming platforms, probably HVOD, because that's where they make the most money. They have a customer lock-in. They made a lot of money on their subscribers. And what's going on right now in the US is just so big in terms of culture as well, because people are obviously impacted because they have all those broadcasters are investing hundreds of millions to promote their platforms, and it's such a cultural boom that like even South Park had a special episode about it. It's called the Streaming Wars, and people are calling that the streaming war. And just to give you a sense of how big that is, because that's a question we always have, it's like, yeah, but how big is connected TV in the US? That's 140 million like CTV monthly viewers. So that's around like 40% of the population, and this is growing very fast. It's expected that within the next 3 years, it will cover like 90% of the households in the US. And right now, the ability to like, basically 80% of the households already have connected devices. It doesn't mean that they watch it like all the time, but they can and they have the ability to watch that content. So that's pretty much what's going on and the revolution of TV that's going on in the US. So, So yeah, what does it mean for UA? Because like we want to talk about that. First of all, let's see what's going on in UA. Some might say that UA is dying. It's actually not dying, but it's really changing because of all the privacy changes that have been happening. Some models don't work anymore. We've seen that with hyper casual and all the like big studios, big hyper casual studios, like switching to like some kind of hybrid, like more like upper funnel. Like attribution doesn't work the same way. Social, well, you run social ads, so you probably know what's going on. Last click attribution like doesn't work as good as it used to. So lots of things are changing, and that's where television can actually help on a lot of things, and that we're seeing like on our side in the US as like advertisers are flocking into TV. So I have few figures about TV that I think are pretty interesting. 8.9. That's the average return on ad spend from TV advertising budgets, not CTV, just like TV as a whole. So TV is probably one of the most like performing advertising channel that has ever existed. And there is a reason why like big, massive advertisers are investing billions of dollars every year into TV. And it used to not be like so accessible and not measurable, but we'll talk about that. The other one that I think is like pretty interesting, here you go, is 80%. That's the percentage of people who say that their buying intents are influenced by TV. And that's really the thing, and there is a reason for that. And I'll illustrate you with mobile advertising. This is what people see when you advertise on mobile. Small screen, sound off, skippable. This is what they see when you advertise on TV. Sound on, non-skippable, and you have tons of attention. And that's really the main thing that differentiates TV compared to all the other advertising solutions that are out there, is that like the attention that you're getting with TV is much bigger, and you create a relationship with the viewers so that like you build a brand. And when you do advertise on TV, you not only like drive performance, and we'll talk about performance and like direct response right after, but you're also creating a set, like an asset for your brand, because people will recognize like your game, your brand, or whatever. And that changes a lot of things, and that creates something that's sustainable for your company. And now, like what has changed is that like TV is connected. So when we say TV is connected, it means that connected TV is basically TVs that are connected to the household IP and household Wi-Fi. And so we can use that information to do a bunch of things when it comes to targeting that you're most used to as a UA manager. First of all, most importantly, you can target the right audiences. So we have now the ability to target some very specific audiences when it comes, for example, to like, and especially in that case, for the clients that we work with, gamblers, puzzle addicts, casual gamers, like we can target based on like various kind of interest in market, like net worth, like family composition, whatever you name it, whatever you're used to targeting, we can target that on TV as well. And the kind of things that we can do as well is that we had an amazing panel about like re-engagement. We can do the same as well on TV, and we've been running that for both app and gaming companies, but also for e-coms, and like retargeting on TV, and that's kind of relates to what I was saying. Like when people see you or see your ad, see your product, go like on the App Store, download your app, or go to a website and kind of look around what's going on. When they see you again on TV, that creates the trust that's often needed for conversion. And also, on top of measurement, on top of targeting, what you can do is measuring your ROAS without having to be Rain Man. So that means that we work with all the like top MMPs, Adjust, AppsFlyer, Singular, you name it, to like actually measure precisely how many installs you're generating from which channel, from which ad, from which campaign, and how much revenue you are getting out of it. All of our clients in the gaming space monitor their campaigns on return on ad spend. Like we're not even talking about CPI. And also one other thing that we do more and more, and that we're being challenged more and more around, is incrementality. And so on that, we work with MetricWorks, we work with Incremental as well, to measure the incrementality that you get from your TV campaign. Because you get direct response, of course, from like your TV campaign, but when you run TV campaigns, you'll also get some very positive impact on your social campaign, your display campaigns, etc. Because people will know your brand. Again, it's the same thing. It's the asset that you're building. And one last thing that's, well, pretty cool about TV as well is that you're running solely on premium content. It's not like on display, it's not like on like apps and everything. Like here, it's TV. So the barrier to entry is much higher than any other platform. And so the brands and the media properties that you work with are much, much more premium. You display your ads on ESPN, on ABC, et cetera, et cetera. And we have access to pretty much all of them. So this is who we are. We are Vibe. We're the first performance-first TV advertising platform. So we come from the advertising and the performance advertising space. I used to run like mobile at Addictive after selling my company to them. We built the largest performance trading desk in France as well, and we've recently launched Vibe as well for that. And we're really, really focused on driving performance for advertisers in general through TV. Talking about performance, let's be like fully transparent. So for example, on a campaign that we have with Metacore for Merge Mention, if I'm not mistaken, we have 18% 7-day ROAS. I think their target is at 15, so it's higher than what they have and what they want. We had also that one is pretty special, but I mean, when you look at that figure, it's pretty cool. With JibJab, I don't know if you know JibJab, they make like silly like gift cards and this kind of thing. And so they had like that big period, they have that big period during Christmas. And we had a 246% 30-day ROAS, which they were pretty happy about, as you might imagine. And last thing, because a lot of people here will try to sell you something that they would not use themselves. But we actually use Vibe for Vibe, and especially in retargeting. So basically, if you are in the US, if you go to our website, well, you'll see a lot of Vibe ads on your TV then. And we get 112 cost per registration. Just to give you a comparison, like our average is at 200. So that's really good for us and works really well for us. Allows us also to like use our own solution. So that's always good. Duck footing is good. And yeah, wanted to celebrate two things. It's always easier and always best to celebrate with people. We've just crossed 3 million installs generated by Vibe in the past. So we've launched in September. So things are going fast. And we've also crossed 1,000 clients active on the platform. So that just shows you that like the demand and what's going on in the US. So on the 1,000, like we work a lot with gaming companies, but we work also a lot with a lot of SMEs, SMBs, etc. But that shows the demand and what's going on in the US right now and the revolution. And what's going on right now in the US is going to be the same in Europe, in EMEA, in Asia, everywhere within the next 5 years. And finally, I'll just plug that in. Like, if you want to get started, like super simple to do so. It starts at 15K. That's usually what we advise to start when you want to do UA. Actually, you can start for much less than that. Like we start at $500 per month. So that's very low, but would not advise that for a serious UA campaign. So with 15K, you have enough like to start getting like some real results, like get the signals that you want to like make the decision of whether or not you want to keep going. Good thing is we have 98% churn, 2% churn, sorry, 98% retention on our UA clients, so it's pretty cool. And you only need a 15 to 30 second creative, so anything that you run like on YouTube or in your acquisition, like we have like some clients using the videos that they use on the App Store, like that works more than fine. One thing though that is very important, and we share a lot and we communicate a lot with our clients around the best practices. Don't forget one thing when you do TV, sound. Like sound is on by default, and that plays a lot into the performance that you are getting. One thing that's super simple, like having a voiceover at the end saying like, hey, like download like Merge Mention on the App Store, like that makes a big difference. Yeah, and then once you have that, like you can launch a campaign and start testing within 24 hours. So super simple to run. That's pretty much it. Like, if you want to step into the future of UA with television, come say hi. We're at the booth S12, if I'm not mistaken. And we're with Jerome. Jerome, if you raise your hand, head of sales, he's handsome. You should talk to him. That's it.